A warm evening in Miami. Cubs and Marlins again. Last night a thrilling win for the Fish. Tonight game 2. It's a 4-game weekend series. And guess what? The weekend starts now. Hi everybody, Rich Waltz along with Al Leiter. Stirring win for the Marlins last night. A team that feels like they've got something to prove. They took a step towards that last night.
Yeah, there's no question, Rich. I think the energy here last night and ultimately how they won the game, a well-pitched game by Chen, facing up a tough pitcher in Lester, and then the big man, Giancarlo Stanton, gets the big hit. Good field all the way around. This was a big win for the Marlins last night.
And that's kind of the headline was Stanton delivers. He had a homer, and of course he drove in the eventual winning run. But for Stanton, just watching him, it seemed like a release of what had been built up for 3.5, 4 weeks.
Listen, it's a long season, and Giancarlo Stanton knows what he means to this club. There's no question about it. He's one of the best players in the game, and he had struggled for a prolonged period of time. And, this guy's a worker, get in there and swing it. But to watch his emotion last night, Rich, I think even bigger than the home run going to opposite field off John Lester, and then Pedro stroked the fastball away. Look at this right here. This is excitement, and his teammates know it. He's a good guy. He's a good teammate. And for him to do all of this that we're watching right here is good for the emotion of any baseball player.
All right, let's do pitching. You like pitching, right?
I do.
Okay, Tom Kohler is on a nice run for the Marlins, and they've needed him because there's been some faltering at the back of that rotation. But not Kohler. He's moving forward right now.
Listen, he competes. He gives you a chance to win. You look at that. I do see that 6 base on balls there. It is a career high. But what Tommy Kohler does, he pounds the zone. He's got a good curveball slider. I love his slider. And you know what you're going to get. Other than one clunker against Milwaukee, he's been in every single game. And he got back to 500 in that 6-6 record. And he's in a good stretch right now, Rich.
Kohler getting ready on his way in. Kyle Hendricks now. Everybody who starts and wears a Cubs uniform seems to have a sterling ERA, and he does, except on the road.
Yeah, I noticed that. And interesting enough, I guess the wind is blowing in Wrigley, huh? Now, listen, this guy's a good pitcher. He's not going to light up the radar. He's going to throw right upper 80s, 90-ish. He's got a great changeup, and he throws an awful lot of strikes. This is a good-looking young pitcher.
Table is set. Pull up a chair. It's Miami and Chicago. Game 2, a thriller last night. The series continues at Marlins Park. Craig Minervini, Jeff Conine when we return. is the presenting sponsor of Miami Marlins baseball. Friday night in the Magic City, Tom Kohler on his way in. We're on our way out to center. Craig Minervini, Jeff Conan.
All right, Rich, thank you very much as the Marlins get set for the Chicago Cubs and this ball game tonight off what I think many are calling maybe the best win, if not the best, certainly right there with the win last night over the Chicago Cubs.
Well, it was a great night last night. You got the best team in baseball coming to town, an electric atmosphere here, fantasy auction, and a Marlins win. That was a great night last night.
We'll dig more into that. How about Chris Johnson on a sort of a mid-June signature win, huh?
I don't know, especially just because maybe a winning series. I don't know that just because we beat them yesterday, if they come back and win the next three, I would consider that a positive homestand. So we want to make sure that we win the series. We win every series, no matter who we're playing. But when you're playing and you're going up against one of the best teams in baseball right now, it's always nice to get that first W, and hopefully we can get a couple more.
The win counts as much as a win over Colorado or Arizona or anybody, but does it carry any more weight, at least maybe not publicly?
I think it's a confidence builder. Like I said, you've got the best team in baseball coming to your house. You're in the hunt for the wild card. You're the second team right now in the wild card race. You're scoreboard watching. I think that team meant a lot more confidence-wise than anything else for this Marlins team.
All right, and it gives you a chance to do even better, and the Marlins want to win this series, and they can take a giant leap toward that if they can take game 2 of this 4-gamer. And not only that, it's fun to see the Cubbies in town to take on the Fish. Some good baseball going on here at Marlins Park. So game 2 of the 4-game set next. Kohler and Hendricks, the matchup, Fox Sports Florida.
Brought to you by Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today. By the Florida Department of Transportation. Drive sober or get pulled over. By your local Toyota dealers. Let's go places. And by Southwest Transparency. Low fares, nothing to hide. Tom Kohler up and over the line looking for his 4th straight win. That would be a personal record. Kohler has been solid of late. And this is the lineup he'll face, brought to you by U Health Sports Medicine. Here come the Cubs. Jason Hayward's in that leadoff spot. Chris Bryant's actually at first tonight. Ben Zobrist at second, hitting third. Wilson Contreras behind the plate. Chris Coughlin's in left. Javi Baez is at third. Addison Russell, the shortstop. The pitcher, Kyle Hendricks, hits 8th, and Albert Almora Jr., the pride of Hialeah, is in the 9 spot. And here is Tom Kohler.
Well, we said he's coming off a good start. The 6 walks, aberration. He did have 1 intentional there, but Tom Kohler, you talk about a guy that's been consistent, pounds the zone, he competes. Back to 500, the 6-6 record, ERA under 4.
Defensively, Marlins, especially Martin Prado, was solid last night. Southwest Airlines brings it to you. Christian Yelich, Marcell Ozuna had a miscue last night. Giancarlo Stanton at right, Bohr and Prado on the corners, Echeverria and Dietrich up the middle. JT Realmuto will call the pitches and handle Tom Kohler. This ball game ready to go. Jason Hayward, Chris Bryant, Ben Zobrist for the Cubs, who have lost 4 in a row. It just shows you how lofty they've been. They lose 4 in a row, and they're still 47-24. And this is Hayward, who was 1 for 4 last night. The former Brave, 1-year Cardinal, takes a fastball that's up.
Yeah, that's a pretty good year, right? You're 23 games over 500. You lose 4 in a row, and it's a story. It has been that type of season for the Cubs.
Chases a 2-0 fastball. Joe Madden. Notice the undershirt he's wearing?
Ah, yes.
Remember, he gave us his Try Not to Suck shirt last night. He said it's the one he's been wearing all season long. He threw it into the auction, he signed it, and now I feel badly because he's wearing a red shirt under the jersey.
Yeah, maybe. You know, he's got the 4 in a row losses, so he's maybe going to break out a new
yeah, you're right. It does match the C on the cap and the C on the jersey.
What a guy. Progressive thinking manager.
2-2 to Hayward. Strokes it into center. Ozuna slides and got it. Wow, Marcell Ozuna last night had a ball skip by him. This time he gets down and reaches and makes a terrific catch.
From the same guy, too, Rich. Jason Hayward last night ended up being a base hit, and it skipped by him for a 2-base error. Nice play.
I talked with Lorenzo Bundy, who's the outfield coach for the Marlins, and one of the things they found on film in the 2 balls to Ozuna last night, one that got by him and one that got in front of him, they found out he was lining up in a straight line. That's a drive. My goodness. That's headed to the beach. Chris Bryant unloads. And the Cubs make it 1-0. First pitch ambush from Bryant.
That's exactly what that was. This is a first pitch. You see Realmuto setting up away. Ooh, boy, that ball moved the entire width of home plate. Bryant, their most productive hitter in this lineup tonight, with Anthony Rizzo out, his 18th home run on the year.
And now here is Zobrist, the switch hitter. And a strike. And it's 1-1. Zobrist 0 for 4 last night. Versatile infield. And a switch hitter at the plate.
They talked with Lorenzo Bundy.
Talked with Lorenzo Bundy. And one of the things they saw on video with Ozuna was that when he lined up straight away, he was lining up right behind the pitcher, and he was losing sight of the plate into right field. And Stanton picks it up. And so just a quick reminder to Ozuna was, hey, if you're going to line up straight up, remember you're going to be a step or 2 to pull side, just so you don't lose sight of the ball off the bat.
Well, as you say that, there's Lorenzo Bundy, outfield coach, base running, almost directly behind the pitcher, and that's what Rich is talking about. You can't see the ball off the bat. And that's that quick first step that an outfielder be able to make, and it's tough to do that if he's literally behind the pitcher. And he's almost slightly left center.
Now Contreras, and he swings and misses. A couple of Cubs banged up right now.
You know, so just to reiterate that point, so even though it's a little off center, whether it's here or here, that's still considered straight away, just for the point that Rich is talking about, to be able to see the ball off the bat.
And Bundy felt that first half second, ball off bat, judging the swing, gives an outfielder his first step. And when you're not sure of that, your first step is late, and he felt on both those balls, the liner that skipped under him and then that soft fly ball that fell in front of him. Ozuna was a step or two late. To right, it's deep, Stanton back, and it's gone. Wilson Contreras. A pair of home runs in the first against Tom Kohler.
Well, there's a fastball. Wilson Contreras, the prospect here in the big leagues. Down and away. Good location, you would think. Not for Contreras, staying on the baseball, not pulling off. Wow, impressive. Second home run on the year. Just stays with that ball and drives to right field. He can do it right off the bat.
And so the Cubs come out with a roar. Tom Kohler, in his previous 9 starts, had given up 1 home run, and he's given up 2 here in the first. Coghlan, a former teammate of Kohler's, takes high, and it's 2-0. Javier Baez to follow. The only out recorded was that sliding catch by Ozuna. Coghlan rips one into that right field corner. Stanton retrieves it. Coghlan thinking 3, on his way, and in there. And the Chicago Cubs have gone homer, single, homer, triple.
Well, they got to stop. Tommy Kohler's got to stop the bleeding here. Ball down the line. See if it kicked around a little bit. You see Coghlan looking as Giancarlo Stanton fielded the ball. Last second did not bother to pick up his third base coach. Double cut. Justin Bour ended up being the cutoff.
And now Baez, Addison Russell on deck. Coghlan, who started the year in Oakland and did not have a good start. The Cubs, who liked him from last year, Joe Madden really likes Coghlan. A couple of solid seasons for Chris in Chicago. Cubs called him back. Made a deal with the Athletics, and here he is. Kohler gets a strike to Baez, who was 1 for 4 last night.
First triple on the year for Coghlan. Only his 13th game with the Cubs.
Baez, a 23-year-old Puerto Rican, infield in with 1 out. Bouncer, Echeverria can't get it, and it's through. Baez, big turn. And it's 4-0.
Kohler, I said fastball, slider, curve. There's a slider up a little bit. You see Baez was kind of fanning the third base dugout, but because it was up, the infield in, on average, Major League average goes up about 50 points. Got it through.
Now Addison Russell. A 4 spot for the Cubs. Russell, the young shortstop. Smokes one to left. There is no mystery tonight. And for the Marlins, whose bullpen has been worked heavy, an early inning exit for Kohler is the last thing that Don Mattingly wants to see.
Well, you see here, let's see. I mean, I thought the pitch to Contreras was a good pitch, but a couple now leaking middle of the plate. And when you're 90-91, command of a fastball. And as much as Tom Kohler's a guy that competes, I love his slider. His slider actually a 124 batting average against. But see where Real Muto, very similar where he set up to Bryant, and it ends up. Now watch the movement. See the ball, how it moves? That ball ends up being inner half, and it's up. You know, so ultimately, I get it. He's scrambling right away, right out of the box. He's got 19 pitches, and you're already struggling with, giving up 4 runs already, 6 hits. Think down, command of a fastball. Get to your slider in good counts. His slider, Rich, 124 batting average against. He uses it 22% of the time. It's pretty much his primary out pitch, especially to right-handed batters. Lefties, he throws a little spike knuckle curveball, also a good pitch for him. But fastballs this year, almost 47%. Major league hitters are hitting 309 on his fastball.
Hendricks squaring and bunting, first base side. Bohr spins and throws and gets the out. And so 2 outs now, and Albert Almora comes to the plate. Paul Clemens is on his way down to the Marlins bullpen. That's tomorrow night's starter, and that's my point. The Marlins don't want to have to run Dustin McGowan out there for 3 innings and lose him for another 3 or 4 days. And so Don Mattingly figures get Clemens down there and get him up if necessary. Clemens finds himself in foul territory. This isn't spring training.
Yeah, I've never seen this.
I've never seen this either. Clemens probably trying to figure out how to get into the bullpen. Breaking ball and a strike to Almora. You can see Clemens in that corner still. I mean, if he starts running poles like in spring training on the warning track. Swing and a miss. Ball in the dirt, dug out. Real Muto tags Almora out. But man, the Cubs come out swinging and do some major damage. 4 runs on 6 hits. Cubs in the top half of the inning in a 4-0 lead. Derek Dietrich getting ready to go. Miami's lineup against Kyle Hendricks tonight. It's brought to you by U Health Sports Medicine. Dietrich back in that leadoff spot. Martin Prado, Christian Yelich, And Marcell Ozuna homered last night. Stanton a homer, and then an RBI single. Justin Bohr is at first. JT Realmuto had an RBI double to finish the scoring last night. And Danny Echeverria is at short, and Tom Kohler slotted ninth. And here is Kyle Hendricks.
Kyle Hendricks, another one of the starters. The Cubs have done a nice job. ERA under 3. As a matter of fact, they don't have any starting pitcher that has an ERA over 3. He's just right there at the 3 spot. Throws a lot of strikes.
Dietrich takes a strike. Derek Dietrich and Justin Bohr last night. Spectators early with John Lester, the lefty, on the mound. Bounces one in the hole, and that's going to be a tough play. Tough because of where Russell was lined up. The shift was on. Russell was way over behind second, so a ball he's usually going to his left on. This is like ranging deep into the hole.
Yeah, he's going a pretty far away. That's a good shot right there. You see where Addison Russell is playing, and just hits a ball there slightly to Russell's right. The speed of Dietrich. Kind of clanked it backhand.
The go is an error. Marlins don't care. They need base runners, and Dietrich's aboard. And here's Prado with Yelich and Ozuna to follow. And Hendricks misses. It's 1-0. Prado happy to see that John Lester's not out there again tonight. Lester punched him out a couple times last night.
For a guy who rarely strikes out. Pretty impressive. Take a look at the scout report of the young Kyle Hendricks, 26-year-old right-hander. Sinker, change, cutter, curve, but the change is his pitch. Rich Waltz right there. He's got a good one, and fills the strike zone. He throws a lot of strikes. He has 2 different changeups. It'll cut a little bit to the right-hander and throw a conventional down the way to the left-hander. There it is.
High pop-up. Baez, who was spectacular last night defensively, makes the catch. And there's an out here in the first. Cubs defensively. That's the spectacular Javi Baez. Southwest Airlines brings it to you. In the outfield, Coughlin, Almora, and Hayward. Baez at third. Chris Bryant. Never know where you're going to find him. Tonight it's at first base. Zobrist and Russell up the middle, and Contreras behind the mound. Miguel Montero available probably in another day. Anthony Rizzo still stiff back, maybe tomorrow. Joe Madden will see how it goes.
Well, I know the first inning they've jumped on a Kohler, but no question about it, the Cubs offense is a completely different team without Dexter Fowler and Anthony Rizzo. What Fowler has meant to this lineup, leading off, putting everybody in their spot, and Anthony Rizzo all around their best player, best hitter.
That's a great point about Fowler. He's overlooked. Rizzo's presence certainly is missed. He's the most visible and a popular guy around here, certainly. Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland. One. Yelich pulls it wide of first.
Since you're talking about the kind of under the radar, I guess, is it fair enough Dexter Fowler ended up getting a 1-year deal with the Cubs? Not in the lineup in the last 4 games, and Cubbies are 0-4.
That's a foul ball, and it almost looked like it was headed out to fair territory. I don't know if Contreras caught it early or if he figured it was just going to stay foul.
Well, we definitely all heard in the ballpark. DJ Rayburn, the home plate umpire, tick a little off.
It just rolled back, kicked back from the line.
Tell you what, if it kept rolling toward fair territory, that would have been an easy out, obviously.
Count 1-2 to Yelich. Dietrich still anchored at first, and a swing and a miss at a ball in the dirt, and Yelich strikes out.
Well, that's that nasty changeup. I said Hendricks will throw a cut changeup, which is really unusual, but he has the ability to kind of turn his wrist in a way to go away from the right-hander. This is a conventional changeup. You see it in his hand. It's a circle changeup, good arm speed, He had 12 strikeouts in his last start against the Pirates, primarily on that pitch right there. Nasty. Tough to lay off, too. Let's see, early in this game, if the Marlin hitters, that pitcher, Hendricks, is going to feed off the aggressiveness of the hitters. His last start against Pittsburgh, 34% of his pitches were changeups.
And it's just as effective to right-handers as it is to lefties.
And the difference, Rich, why I mentioned the 34, 22% season average for Kyle Hendricks. So he saw it was a good thing, ended up striking out 12 Pirates.
Pitch in the dirt. Marcell Ozuna having a outstanding season and hot on this homestand. Ozuna in the Rockies series, the brief Braves series, and then last night 9 for 23, 4 homers, triple, knocked in 7.
Well, last night off of John Lester. Lester trying to come inside to a hot hitter. And Ozuna depositing it there in left field. And right there you see a little relationship with Barry Bonds. Ozuna has benefited the most of any of these Marlin hitters. He's taken to Barry, the work, the BP, the in the cage. He's really followed Barry a step of the way, right from spring training in Jupiter.
An immense amount of confidence and patience rests on Ozuna's shoulders right now. This is I know the score is 4-0, but this is an illustration of one of the things the Marlins are up against without a lot of team speed, and that is Joe Maddon has a pitcher on the mound, Kyle Hendricks, who is very susceptible to a stolen base.
10 out of 10.
Pitcher down low, and you know, last night you had John Lester, who hasn't attempted a pickoff throw all season, and the Marlins were able to run later. 56 steals against, that's second most in Major League Baseball, and only 20% caught stealing.
Worst, the Mets have given up more stolen bases.
But look at the Marlins on the bottom. This ball club right now is not built that way. It's not built to take advantage of those things.
See right there, Rich, you see the at bat right there. 2-1 count, he throws a changeup. 3-1 count, he throws a slider. Now with Giancarlo, when Giancarlo starts getting heated up a little bit, I know as good as Ozuna is, but when you got that big man there, be patient in Ozuna. Make sure you get a strike to allow to pass the baton.
Dietrich runs,
Good
Ozuna
eye.
takes. Saw Contreras squeeze it and hold it, and that's ball 4, and here comes Stanton.
Wow. I mean, a couple things there. Again, Hendricks respecting the heck out of what Ozuna's done in this part of the season, the most offensive productive hitter. But also, you have Giancarlo Stanton, who can head it out of Yellowstone on deck and still chose to nibble around Ozuna with 2 outs.
Stanton takes fastball for a strike, and it's 0-1. Well, his patience, Stanton's, which is evolving, will be tested obviously against Hendricks. Tantalizing breaking ball, which is low. Sits at 195 homers in his career. He drove in his 500th run last night. And a good homestand, 10 for 25, 2 homers. That's the test for Stanton against Hendricks.
And this is the pitch. You see the grip, and he cuts it to the left as he did to Yelich. The ball went down and away to the left-hand hitter. That ball cut a little bit. It's a really effective pitch, the changeup.
Contreras in an upward stance behind the plate from the very start of that, and it's high. It's 2-2.
Well, it's the old proverbial higher than high, because Hendricks isn't going to blow by him, the 88, 89. And now, generally speaking, you go high fastball, change up in the dirt. That's been his out pitch.
Stanton asked for time. Contreras on his way out. Hendricks last year 32 starts. Now remember, one of the favorite sons of Cubs fans was Ryan Dempster. But in July of 2012, the Cubs, as they started to make all the changes, traded Dempster to the Rangers, and this is the guy they got, Hendricks.
Well, get a good pitch here. Something in the zone.
3-2. Runners on the move. There they go. And Stanton takes down low. So here comes Justin Bour. Al Leiter, the pitch that Justin Bour has feasted on this year is the changeup.
What are you saying, Rich?
It's my job just to report the facts. He's hit a dozen homers. And by my count, 5 have been on changeups.
Well, interesting matchup. Guy who likes to throw changeups.
Strike.
Wow, that ball's off the plate, I think. Slightly.
Yeah, you're right. Just barely. A Marlin at every base. A chance to get some of these runs back. 4 runs in the top of the inning for the Cubs. Bags loaded here for the Fish. Without a hit, Dietrich reached on an error, and Hendricks, who doesn't walk many, has walked Ozuna and Stanton. Bour to center. It's deep. Almora back at the wall. It's gone. Grand slam. It's tied. Unbelievable. An hour, and Bour blasts it out to center. And for a guy that the Cubs organization gave up on 3 years ago, this has to be especially sweet for Justin Bour.
Good point, Rich. A Rule 5 from the Cubs. The Marlins pick them up. Watch here. This is kind of a cut fastball. Ends up being middle down. Oh, sweet spot for any left-hander. Grand slam. Well, listening in between innings of the guys saying one bat at a time, and you know that setup was beautiful with Ozuna's walk, Stanton's walk.
Real Muto left field. That should stay in the park. Coughlin is there and makes the catch. Well, how about this? The Cubs score 4, and Justin Bour goes deep and ties it.
En español vía SAP por West Kendall Toyota.
In Miami tonight, 4 years ago, Justin Bour was left exposed in the Cubs organization. He had put up big numbers for a couple of seasons in Double-A, but with the new regime, he didn't quite fit the profile. The Marlins took him in the minor league Rule 5, spent a year in Triple-A, big leagues last year. The 28-year-old out of George Mason is really making an impact this year. 13 homers and now 40 driven in, and now renewed importance for Tom Koehler to straighten things out in the second.
And has a swagger. Just watch him around the cage and around the club. Good, confident player.
That's a strike to Hayward, and it's 0-2. And we'll see if Koehler can flip the switch. Second time through for the Cubs. Hayward hit a searing liner that was caught by Ozuna with a nice sliding catch. Fastball up.
I see what they're doing right here to Jason Hayward, pounding the body line to the left-handed batter. Tom Koehler's natural fastball will kind of run away from the lefty. Get it in there. There's a mistake right there. He said his slider is his #1 out pitch, which it's been at a 124 batting average against. The effectiveness of making sure when you throw that ball in, it's a changeup right here. Something down and away. And that keeps the left-handed batters. Lefties are hit right at about a 300 clip off of Koehler. And as you would expect, right-handers not so much because of his 2 breaking balls going away. But when you come in hard.
Changeup.
2 changeups in a row.
In a better location. 2-2. Hayward has not had a great start to this season, despite the Cubs' lofty 47-24 record. Pulls it on the ground. Dietrich gobbles it up. Koehler has the first out of the second. Al Leiter, if you were a hitter, I could see you doing just this.
Strike it out?
No. little bit for Griffey, but this. Bat flips, Al.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, I am, actually. That's sarcasm.
No, I didn't.
Get your best bat flip and put it on video and send it to @FoxSports, #FoxBatFlip contest now through June 26th. Visit foxsports.com/batflip. You may win a trip to the All-Star game in San Diego. You're getting the hang of it, aren't you?
I played with Tom Lawless when he hit the home run off of Niedenfuhr in the NLCS.
That one fun. Now,
I think it was his first and only home run of his career.
All right, here's my point. That Lawless home run was from the late 70s, early 80s?
Mid-80s, 85.
Okay. Did he get any grief for that?
No, I think it was funny because he never hit home runs, actually.
Right. So Jose Bautista does it, and half the baseball world comes to a screeching halt and can't take it.
Under the circumstance of that home run, I 100% get it. I don't necessarily get it in a 7-1 game in May to do that. Doesn't have the same effect.
Or in the Korean League,
well,
which we just saw.
I'm not sure. I think they're.
No, I'm with you. Okay,
Yeah, I mean, listen, that was a huge home run for the.
All right, I'm doing just an unofficial straw poll because I'm with you. I thought that was a great moment, and Chris Bryant swinging and missing for Tom Koehler is a nice moment because it looks like Kohler's starting to bring it back to center.
Well, he didn't have a chance in a first at bat to Bryant. He jumped on his first fastball, gave him a big dose of curveballs. You see this pitch right here, down and away, nice location. You see Real Muto, as a pitcher should do when you have a 1-2 count, expand and throw a pitcher's pitch, and he did right there. Nice sequence to Chris Bryant. Just the broad stroke, Rich. If Tom Koehler could increase his percentage of throwing changeups, especially to lefties.
That's another good changeup there.
Yeah, so we're seeing more of it. Into tonight's game, he's thrown 6% changeups. It's just another weapon. And you see right here, he threw a couple good ones to Jason Hayward. And now that makes that, 94. That makes it look like 104. But instead of it being a show-me pitch, in my opinion, to be, let's just take a number, 100 pitches, right? That's when the bells go off in Major League Baseball. He's throwing 6 changeups on average in his starts. I'd like to see that higher because that'll make his fastball look better. It's not just a 2-pitch repertoire scenario. There's another changeup.
And another out with Ozuna over. How about that? The Cubs go off for 4 in the first, and they go 1, 2, 3 in the second. Marlins. Scott Brad telecast presented by the authority. The Marlins may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of the game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins.
Remember we were talking about the home runs, the bat flips?
Right.
Tom Lois, I had a chance to play with him in Toronto when I first was traded from the Yankees. This is the World Series. What am I talking about, NLCS? It's the 87 World Series. Look at this. Game 4. I'm telling you, if we pull up the Baseball Reference, I think he had like 1 home run. And I love this guy. He was awesome. That was way worse.
Danny Echeverria.
Than
absolutely.
Batista.
Coughlin makes the catch. And the world didn't come to an end.
I see where you're going.
All right, thanks. Echeverria flies out. Now it's Hendricks who will try to regroup. But 2 very different innings to arrive at 4 runs, right? I mean, for the Cubs, rockets, missiles, 2 homers, Chris Bryant, Wilson Contreras, a triple by Coughlin, 2 other hits, Baez and Russell with line drive hits. For the Marlins, the error by Russell, couple walks, Ozuna and Stanton, and a 3-2 cutter that didn't cut, it sailed. And a deep center off the bat of Justin Bour.
And here we are back to 0-0 in the second.
That a baby.
Tom Lawless, 2 career home runs. Thank you, Sulls.
1 career bat flip. Kohler sends it up the middle, backhanded there by Zobrist, who gets the out at first. And that brings up Derek Dietrich.
He's a personality, Justin Bour.
He is, and you didn't see it last year. He was very deferential to the veteran players. For a guy that had been what he'd been through, to climb up through the Cubs organization and then get Rule 5 over to Miami, not get a chance to get promoted or play in Chicago, and then get to the big leagues. You could see he had a real sense of appreciation to where he was in who he was, and that personality is coming out more and more this year. Changeup misses out.
Hey, we have Joe Madden in this park of a manager who gets personality and feelings and keeping the bunch loose and do all this wacky, crazy stuff, penguins and snakes and all sorts of things. You can't underrate it or underestimate that. Managers that can keep guys happy, in a good place, their mind is clear. I think that's significantly more important than when to pull a pitcher or when to hit and run or bunt.
And of course, they love to dress up. This is the Miami Vice outfits. And as Madden says, if you feel sexy, you gotta wear it.
I love this stuff. I mean,
and the shorts were inspired apparently by Anthony Rizzo, who wears shorts a lot, coming from South Florida. Madden picked up on that.
What was Joe wearing? Wow. I love it. Really do. And the players buy in 100%.
One and two. Dietrich battling at the plate. One thing that Dietrich's been able to do when he's in that leadoff spot is the most important thing, and that is get on base. An on base percentage around .380. And sometimes it's painful when he gets on.
Nah, he's got a little elbow pad. That was good.
I know, but he's been hitting a lot of other places.
Good at bat. Change up away, and then you see Hendricks trying to pound in. Yeah, got a little bit of that elbow guard.
He is a ball magnet. We have the two biggest ball magnets, or two of the biggest ball magnets, in Anthony Rizzo and Derek Dietrich. Danny Espinosa 11 times. Now Prado. And a strike. Justin Bour, grand slam in a 4-4 game, and it's only bottom two. And that seems to be the difference for Miami over the last 10-12 games. They're starting to score runs in bunches. They had 3 7-run innings on the last road trip, and the difference, Al, has been home runs. They don't have a lot of team speed. They've had to bunch hits, but when they hit it out of the park, all of a sudden the runs come. And Prado swings and misses. 2 innings. That's it, and it's 4-4.
Oh. Never gets old, Rich.
Oh, and how about Billy getting in on it? Now, were you a Marlin when you proposed?
No, Blue Jay.
Did you use the Blue Jay mascot in the process?
The bird. No. It was on an off day in Boston.
Did you dance to OK Blue Jay?
Yeah, no.
That's nice stuff there. Wilson Contreras, Chris Coghlan, Javi Baez, Tom Kohler breaking ball. What's different about Tom Kohler now, Al Leiter, than the first inning?
Well, for one, he was scrambling seriously after the 5th pitch of the game with Chris Bryant hitting a solo. And Zobrist proceeded with a single, and then Contreras, I thought, hit a good pitch. We're seeing more changeups to lefties and his breaking ball. That pitch right there. And he's getting in better counts. Listen, he was reeling right away, right? So what I say, 5 pitches. This is a good slider right here. Contreras in his first at bat got a fastball down the way. That's a perfect pitch. That's that pitch I said in the scouting report of 124 batting average against this year on that pitch. So you listen, you got plan A, you think you're going to throw a shutout, and then you go to plan B. That's a nasty, nasty slider.
Well, plan B right now is working perfectly.
You know, I say it all the time, and I was a guy that struggled sometimes the first inning. You come down, you warm up, you throw your 40, 50 pitches, however many. You come in, and then immediately you're scrambling. That's the slider, gets on top. And when he pulls down, he's got that great break of kind of the hand of a clock. As a right-hander from like 2 o'clock to 8 o'clock. And he throws it pretty hard. He's got the 2 breaking balls, the spike curveball and that pitch. And then there, Rich, changeup. 4 pitches. Less predictable. And they have 3 secondary pitches they have to look for. I like that pitch to a changeup. Now, if he can start going body line, this pitch right here inside, throw it right at the waist. Bell tie in. Let him feel it, smell it.
Translate body line.
Body line is anywhere, you know, generally speaking, you want it in for a strike, but if I could go anywhere on the inside part of the plate, back to a curveball. So when I say body line, Rich, I'm saying anywhere down this line, preferably in this area, but I just get in there. That's a good pitch again, changeup. And if move them, move their feet. Let the hitters know that you're on the mound. I got something for you. You don't have to throw Jose Fernandez fastball 98 miles an hour. I don't care if you're throwing 88, 89, 90. Tom Glavine fastball. Move their feet. Make hitters feel uncomfortable. I'm not talking about hit people. I'm talking about just an uncomfortable at bat. And that opens up that changeup that he's throwing right now.
Breaking ball. Coghlan pulls it. Bohr to first in time. So there's 2 outs here in the 3rd. ...2017 season tickets, and of course the All-Star Game is coming. If you place a deposit for a season ticket next year, it'll guarantee you All-Star Game tickets. RSVP for the Home Run Derby as well on July 11th. Swing for your seats. 1-877-MARLINS. Or go to marlins.com. Javier Baez, he singled back in the 1st. Cubs rolled out of bed and came out hacking, and man, did they make solid contact. The first 7 hitters in the lineup hit it hard against Kohler before that Hendricks sacrifice bunt and the strikeout of Almora, the 9-hitter to end the 1st. Joe Madden. Joe Madden the other day talked about what he puts on his lineup card. And it's a quote. It says, "Don't ever permit the pressure to exceed the pleasure." He said, "That's on top of my lineup card every night. Don't ever forget that. Don't ever forget why we're here. This is baseball. This is a game. It's entertainment. Simplify things and play the same game regardless of the date on the calendar."
That's on his lineup card?
Well, no. The very top is, "Don't ever permit the pressure to exceed the pleasure." He was extrapolating. Try not to suck t-shirt. Very popular in Chicago. It's something that Madden showed up to spring training with. He has an outstanding charity of his own. Hazleton, Pennsylvania, his hometown. He does an enormous amount of work in the community, in the off season. 3-2. Swing and a miss. Ball in the dirt. And Tom Koehler strikes out Javier Baez. What a difference a couple innings makes. It's 4-4.
And the Marlins brewing in a different one, but an exciting game here tonight as well. Game 2 of this 4-game series. The Marlins are going up against an Ivy Leaguer, and he made a different trek. Kyle Hendricks, who came from California to go east. He said, I just couldn't pass up an Ivy League education. He went to Dartmouth. He got drafted after his 3rd season, which is normal for talented pitchers. And so he had to go back to college well, he didn't have to, but he did in a couple of off seasons. Wound up getting his degree in finance, but there's a shot of him pitching for Dartmouth, which has produced, among others, West Palm Beach native and a fine lawyer up there these days, former Major Leaguer Pete Broberg, right-hander. Of course, our pal Eddie Lucas among those who used to play for the Marlins and went to the Dartmouth as well. For Hendricks, though, doing a nice job this season for the Cubbies, although struggled there in the 1st inning. By the way, Eddie Lucas now at AAA Reno in the Arizona organization, picked up there about a month ago, and he's hitting a little under 260. Guys?
One of our favorites, Ed Lucas. We'll keep an eye on that. Hope Eddie gets another shot up in the big leagues. Christian Yelich, Marcell Ozuna, Giancarlo Stanton in the 3rd against Kyle Hendricks. 4-4 game. Miami has 1 hit, but that hit was an enormous one. It was to straightaway center, well up into the bushes. A grand slam by Justin Bour. Yelich takes a breaking ball in the dirt. And neither pitcher, Hendricks or Koehler, had been bitten by the home run ball much at all this year. Koehler had given up just 4 before giving up 2 in the 1st. And for Hendricks, that's just the 7th that he's allowed. There's that changeup. It counts 3-2.
Well, you're going to sense both these pitchers. Certainly, Tom Koehler has proven that the last couple innings to kind of settle in. We're seeing more changeup, sliders, and curveballs from Koehler, and it looks like Hendricks is kind of going to that changeup. Especially watching Hendricks now. When I say this, Rich, he had 12 strikeouts in his last start against the Pirates. You know, he's not a flamethrower. What we're impressed with today, and watching the Jose Fernandez type stuff where you would expect strikeouts. He's a pitcher. Changing speeds, has to hit the glove, keep the ball down.
Full count. Up the middle, Zobrist. In time to get the out. And with one out, here comes Marcell Ozuna. All the excitement last night for the Fish. Stirring win against the Cubs. In the National League East, the Marlins and the Mets, both 4 back of the Nationals. Ozuna takes the ball. The Nationals happy to get off the West Coast. That was not a good place for Washington.
What happened?
They're in Milwaukee. They dropped 5 in a row.
Oh.
Pitches in.
Nats are 13 over 500. Mets and the Marlins 4 games back.
Mets have an early lead in Atlanta, 2-0. That's top 3. Two and 1.
A lot of cat and mouse going on here early in this game. Kyle Hendricks pitching backwards to most of these Marlin hitters. There it is. That's what I mean by backwards. And 2-0, 2-1, 3-1 counts. Typical fastball counts. Seeing a lot of off-speed pitches from Kyle Hendricks.
Down low. Remember, Ozuna walked on a couple pitches like that. He's run the count to 3-2. The Marlins have forced Hendricks up to 56 pitches right now. And Ozuna walks again.
Wow. And a 3-2 breaking ball.
T-Mobile brings you greater coverage of baseball. Freddie Galvis, hot. Adonis Garcia back in the Braves lineup. Braves beating the Mets last night. Atlanta has stayed hot, Al. They won 7 of their last 8. Bruce Bochy, always nice to have him on the show. Giants beat Pittsburgh and now tied the Cubs and the Rangers for the best record in the big leagues. Stanton also walked in the first, and Hendricks threw him a lot of soft stuff after a first pitch fastball. See if he gets a first pitch fastball here. Nope. Little cutter for a strike. That was quite a rip. He fouls it straight back.
Yeah, that's the pitch right there you want to take back as a hitter, right down the middle. Stanton just missed it, pulled off just a bit, but when that ball was hit straight back, the timing was right. Just got underneath it a little. See if he pulls the string here right after that. Generally throws off speed. Oh, little cutter away. Kind of has a little crossfire shooting too, Kyle Hendricks does. Lands slightly closed. Now Jake Arrieta, the Marlins aren't going to see him. He really throws across his body, about a foot or so. That landing leg landing toward third base slightly. More deceptive that way.
Stanton pulls it foul. 1-2.
The more a pitcher, especially like Kyle Hendricks, that's not going to blow by you. If you can hide the baseball longer and not allow hitters to see it sooner, obviously the perceived velocity is quicker. See what I'm talking about. This is a straight line here, so off center, stay closed, front side, and then boom, he's got it right over the top. longer pitchers can stay closed, that front side being closed, hard to pick up the baseball sooner.
Ozuna at first, 1-2 coming. Stan, a good take. There's a couple pitches in this at bat. That one and the one that's on the other side of Fox Tracks that Stanton 3 weeks ago probably would have swung at. As wild as that sounds and as far out as they look. And he got him on that one.
That's a tough pitch right there. That's that cut changeup. It's even awkward to say. Out of the hand, you see the grip, and then he's able to off-center it, and it looks like a slow slider. It's really effective pitch. Stanton had 2 pitches to hit. He missed it, but he had 2.
It's an effective pitch, but when you miss with it to a guy like Bohr, who has been hitting those off-speed pitches and hitting them a long ways, it was costly for Hendricks in the first. 13 home runs now for Bohr.
Out of 1-0 count. Justin Bohr, the grand slam. Got the Marlins right back. The Cubs score 4 in the top of the first. Straight away, Central. Bomb. 13th home run on the year, 40 RBIs.
Talking to Frank Menachino today about Bohr, one of the things he said is that he feels he's really been helped by trying to beat the shift, and that is driving the ball to left allows him to hit the ball out to right or to center like he did. And the Cubs shift, not that dramatic against Bohr compared to the others we've seen. That's a strike.
Yeah, and then you got Joe Madden, but yeah, like as Rich is saying, you'd see the shortstop over here, third baseman over here. They're not doing so, and I think you're going to see more of that, Rich. More hitters like what you just said, Frankie Menachino, for Justin Bohr to recognize. There's a lot of hits over there. Do it a handful of times, they'll make the adjustment to defense. I talked to Joe Madden about that, and I said, how many times would it take, we'll use Justin Bohr, for a Justin Bohr to go the other way? Is it 1? Is it 2? Or do you view it as an aberration? He said, look, the tendency has to be more than 1. And what was the pitch, and did it look like he had intention to go the other way? So there's other factors as to whether you would adjust your defense.
The interesting thing watching Bohr or Dietrich or any of the hitters that get shifted on, even Stanton, is where do you pitch them? Where are the teams attacking them? And the odd thing about Bohr is a lot of teams have pounded him with fastballs out, and he'll take those fastballs to left field for hits. Full count. Ozuna on his way from first. And he got him. Change up. Kept it off the plate at 80 miles an hour on Venezuelan Heritage Night tonight. Our friends of the Pachanga Band. Where's Allison Williams? We got a Pachanga Band. Heritage Nights. Here are some Venezuelan-born Marlins. Alex Gonzalez, of course, a great shortstop. The second guy could play a little bit, Miguel Cabrera.
Who's that?
There was a Reniel Pinto sighting on that list. Henderson Alvarez, and of course, Martin Prado out of Venezuela. Into the fourth. There's a big cat here who hit the longest home run in Sun Life / Dolphin Stadium /
Joe Robbie.
Whatever. Yes.
I was there.
You could actually go through all the names of that facility from the time it left the bat to the time it landed up on the tarp in the upper deck in left field.
Impressive. Very. 1996. Off of Kevin Brown.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
Oh, wow. All right.
You ask, you
right,
get it.
A hanging slider. Watch this. It was the Jackie Robinson 50th anniversary. Went halfway up. Look where that hit. I'll tell you what, Brownie, we've joked with him. He didn't like it. He's like, it wasn't that far. The next day, we're like, yeah, it was. You're awesome. You're great. You're the best pitcher we got, but that was a bomb. I didn't mind it, Rich. I honestly didn't. If I was going to give up a home run, I would rather give that than a wall burner. I would.
Soft line drive left field. Yelich on a hop has to play it. And Addison Russell has his second hit. And that's the first hit that Kohler's allowed since that wild first inning when the Cubs got their 4.
He just reached out and poked it. I don't know if it was a little breaking ball down the way, but put the ball in play.
And now Hendricks, the pitcher, who had a sacrifice bunt in the first. Joe Madden in this ball game has his pitchers hitting 8th. John Lester was in the 9th spot last night. Runner goes, hit and runs,
Wow.
foul back.
That's a little Joe Madden safety squeeze with the bases loaded kind of thing. You got your pitcher batting 8th, which makes it easier to pitch to Russell, in my opinion. So your 7th hitter.
Well, look at the jump Russell got, though. He had an enormous jump.
Still hit and run.
There's the bunt. Kohler on to first to get the out.
Nice bunt.
Ball game tomorrow is a 4 o'clock start. That means Marlins live tomorrow, 3:30. First home pregame for Nelly. Jeff Nelson joins Craig Minervini. Preview of Game 3. Lackey versus Clemens. No, it's not turn back the clock. It's Paul Clemens. And the odd thing about this game is that in the first inning, Paul Clemens jogged down to the Marlins bullpen in the first when Tom Kohler was on the ropes. Bouncer to short. It'll keep Russell at second. And Almora out number 2. And Clemens has been out there since. Now, the way Kohler has pitched lately, probably Don Mattingly's blood pressure has gone down a few ticks. He would love
Everybody's scrambling up here, too. If he pitched.
Yeah, that was the question. If he had pitched in this ball game, who was going to start tomorrow? Because the Marlins would not accelerate their rotation, especially with Jose going on Sunday. Here's Hayward now. He's lined out, bounced out.
Well, Kohler settled in nicely, to say the least. And that changeup we just saw right there to Hayward has done a nice job changing speeds and getting ahead of most of these Cub hitters since that 4 spot in the first inning.
Count 2-0. You've got Bryant on deck. Cubs' first inning was highlighted by the 18th homer of the season by Bryant, a solo shot, and Wilson Contreras' 2-run homer. 2-0 rides in.
And when change up, and then the fastball in. You know, Bryant being their most productive hitter in this lineup with Anthony Rizzo down. We're getting in the middle part of this game. That run at second base, it's a big run.
Kohler walks Hayward on 4 pitches. And Real Muto out to visit with the Marlins starter.
Well, Bryant jumped on the first pitch with the fastball in the first inning. Last inning threw some nice curveballs to Bryant. So that setup, this conversation right now by JT Real Muto. How do you want to go after Bryant? And I hate the proverbial be careful, because you don't want to take away the aggressiveness of your pitcher, but yet obviously this is a big moment, albeit it's only the 4th inning in this game. You got to make a pitch here.
So what do you want to hear as a pitcher?
I want it to be positive with good conviction behind my catcher. Say, hey, listen, let's get ahead here with something off speed, see his reaction. Oh, fastball in. You got a good fastball hitter. He turned and burned on you, albeit a pitch that you tried to go away that ended up being middle. Now, Bryant went right. He also can go right center. So he's just a solid hitter. 270 batting average.
Breaking ball, and he's got that uppercut swing that just lends itself to long home runs.
Well, there's that curveball too, and it stayed inside. So he went fastball in. Curveball missed location, but because it stayed inside. Watch the location here. There's a big swing by Bryant, nubbing it. I mean, if it's me, Rich, my out pitch is a slider. I'm giving my best slider here down the way. He tried. Actually, that was a curveball. 2 types of breaking balls. He throws them about equally the same, 20%-ish on his curve and slider. And it's just a bigger break. Curveball's a little slower. It's got a bigger break to it. Slider, quicker velocity, closer to your fastball, and a smaller break.
How many pitchers can throw both of those pitches effectively?
It's a great question, and mostly, and I'll tell you, Rich, I had both. This is a perfect. I'm throwing that again, and maybe he set me up right now as a hitter. Joe Carter used to do that, my old teammate with Toronto. Swing at a pitch that you think now the pitcher thinks I got you. Expand a little bit more. You have 2 pitches here, Tom Kohler. Doesn't have to be on the plate.
Looking at a fastball. How about that? Wow. Who was setting whom up?
That's it. He wasn't looking for that one. Sit up.
4-4 still. Brought to you by Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today. And by Checkers Fast Foodies, know the deal. Miami tonight, the Cubs roared out of the gate with 4 runs, battering Tom Kohler in the top of the first. Justin Bour's grand slam in the bottom half tied it, and the game is still tied as we move to the bottom of the 4th. Marlins winners last night. Come from behind fashion. 2 late runs, an Ozuna homer and tied it. Giancarlo Stanton with an RBI single to give Miami the lead. And this man, JT Realmuto, doubled down the left field line. Realmuto shortens to bunt. Takes a strike. Realmuto knocked in the 4th run of last night's game, which was saved by David Phelps, who had a high wire act in the 9th to get it done. Phelps probably not available tonight, but of course A.J. Ramos should be, because Phelps was spelling Ramos last night.
Yeah, that was an exciting win all the way around for the Marlins. Getting 2 runs in the bottom of the 8th after the Cubs tied it up in the top of the 8th.
High pop-up, everyone chasing. Russell, Baez leaps, and I think he got it. My goodness. Let's hope he's okay. He is, and he's got it. Wow. Remember the play he made last night? This one might be better.
Nice job. Yeah, you mentioned it. A great play to his left last night. Ended up being safe, but good effort. Gosh.
Now he takes an inventory to make sure everything is all right. The play made last night wasn't an out, but going to his left, he got a glove on a ball. It popped in the air. He spun to the ground, caught it bare hand, and then still turning, spun on his side and his knees, and threw a strike to first.
Well, he's a heck of a defensive player, right? I mean, he came up as a shortstop, and with Joe Madden had her at third. He'll play multiple positions, plus defender for sure.
And the play he made last night was on Realmuto as well.
Yeah.
Realmuto ended up with an infield hit. Echeverria 0 for 1 so far. In fact, Miami has just 1 hit, and that was the Bour grand slam.
Pretty much settled in, just like Kohler. Than the walk to Zuna. I hit Dietrich. Cutting, sinking. See that ball off the plate a little? This constant movement. Cut, sink, in, out.
Again, Baez this time. Just out of his reach. He did get some help after the ball was gone.
Hey, watch here. He gets right to the railing, feels for it. And makes another nice effort trying to get that ball.
Be careful with Brian Morris there. He just had back surgery. Is Morris helping him? 2-2. Echeverria. Almora's there. He makes the catch. 2 down in the 4th. Marlins Park offers a variety of private suites located behind home plate that can be rented for just 1 game. They can accommodate groups from 16 to 60, offer VIP service, and feature exquisite food and beverage options. Book the Marlins suite today, 1-877-MARLINS, or go to marlins.com/suites. Now Kohler. Two and one. Long homestand for Miami. It was 4 to start with against Colorado. Miami won 3 of 4 there. Then the Braves, the puzzle the Marlins can't solve. Marlins split there, a win last night, and a tie game here. Game 2 of a 4-game set, headed to the 5th.
Both of these starting pitchers, but if you think of the first inning, just a couple mistakes, and here you watch where Real Muto's setting up middle. He wanted the ball away. You see where that ball ended up. First pitch, Chris Bryant, home run, second batter of the game. Actually, it was his 5th pitch of the game. Watch here, you see the setup to Addison Russell. He wants the ball away, and that ball is kind of bell tie, middle in. Hits a nice base hit to left field. But here, now when you watch his second, third inning round, starts throwing that curveball, the big break. You see there, Talmora, here Chris Bryant. He threw a nice sequence of curveballs and sliders. That breaking ball, very, very good breaking ball. And then you see here, instead of the curveball to Contreras, he ended up throwing 3 sliders in a row, striking him out. Looks like, you know, Tom Kohler found what wasn't working, settled in, throwing a lot more curveball, sliders, and changeups. And what looked like a disaster of a start, here he is midway through the game.
We talked about the importance of getting deep. The Marlins had run Paul Clemens down into the bullpen in the first inning, just in case Kohler's night continued on that path. But he's 72 pitches in. He's punched out 5. And, you know, the other thing, the walks, that for Kohler has been an issue at times this year. 5.1 walks per 9 innings, second highest in the majors. Francisco Liriano is number 1. And he did walk 6 last time out, one of those intentional. But his starts previous to that, he had cleaned that up. And he's done that tonight. Here's Zobrist with Contreras and Coghlan for the Cubs.
Yeah, in his 3 previous starts against the Mets, the Twins, and the Padres, he had one walk in each of those starts, 6 innings. And then he had the 6 walks against Colorado, as you said, Rich. But But then, you know, then you go, listen, you know, I don't care if it's high school, college, minor league, big league. You know, you create offense by walking your opponents. It just makes it a much uglier game, if you will. You're battling to get out of it. And a nice 2-0 changeup right there. You know, the formula: get ahead and expand. Right? I mean, that's pitching. The art of pitching. And conversely, you know, you get a pitcher on the mound, 2-0, 2-1, 3-1, doesn't have the ability to either pitch backwards, show his off-speed pitches in those counts. Usually going to be a short night for a starting pitcher. And I don't say it as easy. Oh yeah, he missed that. That's a backdoor, not a curveball he wants, but it did have the outside corner.
That's a strike. Zobrist now the one to turn to DJ Rayburn.
That might have been a little worse than the previous one, huh?
Yeah, that one's just off, but they kind of even out.
Think up.
3-2. That one caught the corner.
Nice.
Tom Kohler strikes out Ben Zobrist. And we check in with Craig Minervini. Craig.
Well, a brand new promotion for the rest of the season here, guys, and that is courtesy of the Monster Company. This, what they call a Baller Bentley. It is to the tilt. It's a $300,000 car, and it could be yours if you're at the plate. Either team, by the way, and you hit the Monster sign in just about dead center field. That is 463 feet away from home plate. And if you hit that O, see the O on that sign? That will get you this car. That's, hey, it's come a long way since hit this sign and I'll paint your house. Wasn't that the one?
Or hit this sign and win a suit, right?
Well, paint your house or give you a suit.
Hit it.
So now you can hit that little, oh, there it's a.
See, I thought it was going to be the sign, not the, now is
No,
it?
you got to hit the O.
Well, who's got it? You keep saying you.
Well,
Richard,
you,
I have
maybe
no,
Al
I have no
BP.
shot. No shot. Unless with
So-
a golf
No,
ball.
it's got to be during the game, actually. It's not during batting practice. And it is, they say, it looks further, guys, to me than 463 feet, but that's what they're saying.
See, they're better off. Where's that Bentley? Craig is out left field, left center?
Yes, this is by the set, just behind our set. And I would think this is in range in BP on a bounce, but you really don't. It's a tough shot.
See, that's what
Over
I'm
here.
going. I'm saying hit the Bentley and win it.
Hit the Bentley and win the sign. You can do that.
So just to clarify, is it the little black dot in the O? Is
From
it?
what I understand, it's the entire O.
Okay.
Doesn't
Entire
have
O.
to be the bullseye. The bullseye should get you 2 Bentleys, I would think, like the showcase.
So who wins it? The hitter?
I think the player does, Al.
Wow.
See,
Yeah.
Now Al's a little concerned because what's in it for the pitchers?
That's true.
They get a ride to the minor leagues. They give up that shot. In a Baller Bentley.
Contreras hit by a pitch. He's at first with 1 out. Pops out of Real Muto's glove, and that's free passage for Contreras to both bases. A hit batter and what looks like a pass ball.
Well, let's take a look right here. The pitch that just, again, if a catcher is figuring the pitch to be in a certain location, that ball missed by a couple feet. And it looked like Real Muto took his eye off just slightly, seeing what Contreras was doing. A couple mistakes here.
And an opportunity for the Cubs. You've got Coughlin, who's tripled and bounced out. Coughlin takes out. Chris Coughlin has always been able to hit, whether he was in Tampa, East Lake High School, Ole Miss.
Marlins Rookie of the Year, wasn't he?
Marlins Rookie of the Year in
National
2009. National League Rookie of the Year as a Marlin.
It's a big pitch right here. Don't give in. If you like the 1-0 change, throw it again. He did.
And he missed it. It's 3-0. You got Javier Baez and then Addison Russell combined. They're 3 for 4. Those are the next 2 hitters for the Cubs. Coughlin walks.
Once he got behind, I get that walk. It looks like out of sorts. He wasn't. He got behind the 1-0, threw 2 changeups in a row, got to 3-0. You start over. His last at bat against Javier Baez was impressive. Got him with the curveball, ended up throwing 5 pitches. 3 of them were curveballs, swing and a miss, struck out Baez. Short-term memory, that's a good pitcher, an aggressive, really good fastball hitter, Baez.
Bullpen is stirring. Action there in a 4-4 game. Top 5. Baez, who had a big moment in the postseason last year, a 3-run homer against the Cardinals in Game 4 of the National League Division Series. Remember, the Cubs had to win the wild card game on the road, but they had Jake Arrieta, and he took care of the Pirates, shut him out 4-0. Swing and a miss. And then they beat the Cardinals 3-1 in the division series and were swept by the Mets in the NLCS. A ball, a strike, and an out. Big breaking ball. 1-2. Nick Whitgren is the first up in the bullpen. Sources saying in baseball that Jose Reyes is headed back to the Mets. Could sign as soon as tomorrow. Two balls, 2 strikes.
Similar sequence that Kohler did to Bryant to end the 4th inning. A lot of breaking balls, and locked him up inside. Tried to do the same thing there to Baez.
See the ball strike ratio this inning: a hit batter, a walk, and a 2-2. Sharp ground ball. Prado to his left. Dietrich's turn. Got him. Double play. Tom Kohler escapes, and on a night where he was battered in the first, he has shut the Cubs down the rest of the way. Halfway through 4-4 game. have 4 runs on 7 hits. The Marlins 4 on just 1 hit. Geico presents the state Marlins history. Preston Wilson and D. Lee cracked 2 homers each. Preston's was in the 8th, and it was a 3-run homer. D. Lee followed with another homer a pitch later. And the Marlins beat the Cubs 7-4 in 2004 on this date. The home run is the only offense that Miami has had tonight, and it was just 1. And of course, the grand slam. Justin Bour in the 1st. Dietrich takes up from Kyle Hendricks. Martin Prado, Christian Yelich. We noted that Dietrich in the leadoff spot has been outstanding. Instead of D. Gordon during his suspension. And if you take Marlin hitters, leadoff hitters, guys who've been in the leadoff spot, even Gordon, and you throw them all together and you figure out their on-base percentage, the Marlins are 4th best in the National League. The Cardinals at 410 on base, Cubs 398, Pirates 385, Marlins at 366. Sliding stop, Bryant, and the throw is low. They arrive together in a late call of out by Bill Welke. An awkward play. Remember, that's Chris Bryant at first.
Well, that's a heck of a play all the way around. Bryant quickly turned around. Probably had another split second. Tough play. Pitcher on the run. Now he's in a foot race with a good runner in Dietrich. Nice play by Kyle Hendricks to just grab that. Almost got twisted up there. Immediately, ball to right side. Kyle Hendricks breaks it down, but the throw down to Hendricks. Good play.
Now Prado. Martinez popped out and struck out. Oh for 6 with 4 strikeouts in this series. Very un-Prado-like. Pair of arms up. I don't think that's Wood, the lefty.
It's Concepcion, the young left-hander, got called up.
Bouncer over the middle. Zobrist in time, and Hendricks, if he could have that 1 pitch back, life would be grand right now. Instead, it's 4-4. And here comes Yelich.
Boy, he's really settled down. When you say that, that first inning was so exciting for both sides with the big grand slam, but wow, Kyle Hendricks settled in.
Yelich just struck out, and he's bounced out. Are you a big run differential guy? Do you look at that?
Yeah, I do. I actually do.
So
I know there's blowouts that kind of distort it a little bit.
So what do you make of the Cubs plus 162?
Oh, clearly they're pitching. Yes, their offense has been good, but you know, compared to I guess last year, I mean, the fact that they.
Yeah, the rotation's ERA is only 1.87.
Well, there you go.
Yelich bangs it in the corner, and it's foul.
I mean, the 211 runs against. Is there anybody better? Not even close. You got the Mets at 241 runs against. That's the closest. So there's your another 20, 30 plus.
Yeah, the next closest, the Red Sox at 78 in terms of run differential. In the National League, the Nationals at 72 run differential, plus 72. Of course, the Marlins have been getting it done with tight games most of the year. and that's reflected in their run differential. Yelich takes outside.
Well, and not only tight, but I think you've touched on it. The fact that they don't hit that many home runs. I mean, they're 27th in baseball in home runs. The Marlins are. Royals, the Giants, and the Braves have less. Braves way less. They're only 34 home runs as a team. You know, that's a big, right, run changer. I know that Kohler gave up 4 in the first, but you got 1 hit out of this game, and you talk about a productive hit. And Bohr's grand slam.
Marlins are +2 in run differential on the season, but 5 games over. Yelich takes up and in, and he walks, and that gives Ozuna a 2-out at bat in the bottom of the 5th. Tomorrow's Saturday, Al, and you know what that means?
What?
Bobbleheads, baby. First 5,000 get a Moises Alou All-Star bobblehead, courtesy of Preferred Care Partners.
Is Mo going to be here?
Fellowship Day with a post-game concert with Trip Lee. Get your tickets now at Marlins.com.
Bummer.
So Yelich walks. Ozuna, long look down. I think the damage that Ozuna has done on this homestand is substantial, but maybe the at-bats tonight are a better illustration of how he's changed as a hitter. Because he's walked in the first and walked in the third, and Hendricks has tickled the strike zone against him consistently with off-speed stuff just off the plate or just below the knees. And Ozuna's walked twice.
By design. Listen, Ozuna, as good as he's been, one of the hotter hitters in baseball, and dangerous. And I know Giancarlo Stanton is on deck, but Ozuna, complete, has been the best Marlins hitter. Let's see if here you got Yelich, who can run a little bit, take advantage of all these off-speed pitches. See if he can get some motion here, get scoring position.
Well, especially against a guy that we illustrated has had real difficulty stopping the running game. He's not had a runner caught stealing yet this year.
That's right, 10 for 10. Because he doesn't have a slide step, much as leg kick. And the number for a right-handed pitcher matters more than the time in which from the second the pitcher starts his delivery to the glove. You get him 1.4 to 1.6. That's generally the time that you'll see runners go that are good runners. Chris Bosio, pitching coach for the Cubs there.
That pitch is in, and it's 2-1.
I mean, just as you said, he's just around the plate. You see those pitches, nibble, nibble. Go ahead, swing at my pitch. I'm not giving in. That's kind of the mentality of Kyle Hendricks tonight.
24 walks this year for Ozuna. He walked 30 times last year.
Wow.
Wow. That's the epitome of nibbling, and it was out. You heard Ozuna with a bit of disagreement with DJ Rayburn. This is the hardest pitch to call for an umpire. This cutter or a two-seamer that moves. We had a great show a couple of years ago with Jim Joyce's crew, and we talked specifically about the strike zone. And to a man, the umpires in that room said the hardest pitch to call in the game right now is that the cutter, the two-seamer that moves, because just like a hitter, the umpire is trying to track it as well. And anything with late movement is really hard on umpires.
Well, they're better and better every year. I believe that the system that's in place has made these guys bear down even more. You don't see favorite calls anymore. You know, as I once heard from Eddie Rapuano, a retired umpire who I love, It's like, you know, when they had the Westech, what they called it at that time. I'm on the computer tonight, Al. What does that mean? You know, there was times in which umpires could have a little more leeway.
2-2. Yelich hasn't budged from first. He's running now, and Ozuna cranks it into the seats. Well, with the current system, what the umpires get after each game is a DVD of the game and a report of each pitch. So if in an umpire's mind there was a borderline pitch, he can go back and see if he was right or wrong and make that adjustment the next time he came behind the plate 4 days later. And that's where you get the accuracy. That's where they're able to zero in on the strike zone. So Yelich, see if he's moving again. Not running. Ball in the dirt. Yelich is going. Picked up. Fired by Contreras. Yelich is in and keeps his hand on the bag.
You see, even there with the wild pitch in the dirt, Wilson Contreras has got an arm. Watch this ball. He keeps it in front. I didn't think he was going to throw. Yelich's good speed made it close. See here, nice secondary lead. See the hesitation. Then Yelich on his horse. Hold that bag. Watch him here hook his hand around that bag. Two hands. Contreras is there. Knew the scouting report that he could throw. He's got a good arm. Yelich now in scoring position. Again, trying to get on the same page. This has that feel of this game. A run in the middle of the game could be not just a run, but a potential loss.
And Ozuna once again in a 3-2 count. And Ozuna, end of bat to left. Coughlin over. Boy, he was just out in front. Change up got him. Terrific pitch by Kyle Hendricks. Still a 4-4 game. What a fascinating game this is tonight. Cubs and Marlins out of the chute. The Cubs put 4 on the board and looked like this was a runaway. Al Leiter, Craig Minervini, Jeff Conine with me tonight. Rich Waltz with you. And Tom Kohler was wobbling. Tomorrow night's starting pitcher was sprinting to the bullpen. And Kohler was able to figure it out and get out of that first. And since then, he has kept the Cubs off the board. Addison Russell is up. And Don Mattingly is hoping that Kohler can give him one more inning here in the 6th.
A great example of what Tom Kohler represents. A guy that'll battle. Yes, that's an upsetting first inning. Could have folded.
Another soft line drive. This one, Echeverria runs down.
The job for a pitcher is to compete. You're standing on the mound, and as upsetting as it could be at times, here's a guy into the 6th inning, as you set up nicely, Rich, and he's still battling. And his team is in it. And outside of one start, Tom Kohler had a clunker back in May 1st. 2 1/3 against the Brewers. Every one of his starts, the Marlins were in it. Yeah, I'll give you another clunker. 2nd start of the year against the Braves. And that's what you look for in your guy. Matt Caesar pinch hitting.
Brought to you by Pinch a Penny. Strike to Caesar, whom the Marlins saw last night. Oh, and 2. Albert Almora is on deck. Bouncer to Prado. Across the diamond is in time. Tom Kohler, 2 outs here in the 6th.
I mean, looking at Kyle Hendricks, pitch hit. Yes, the 4 walks. Gave up 1 hit, 5 strikeouts, 105 pitches, 5 innings. I mean, he cruised for the most part. Some good at bats by the Marlin hitters to get that pitch count up, and all those 4 runs were unearned because of that leadoff of the game error by Addison Russell, Derek Dietrich.
Trevor Cahill in the bullpen. Almora is 0 for 2. And a fly ball to right. Stanton is over, and in front of the track makes the catch. How about that? 8-pitch inning. Tom Kohler has held it at 4-4. Terrific bounce back effort from him. Very appreciative. His manager, of course, the first to greet him. And everybody knows the significance of being able to get back up on the rails and then ride through the 6th inning. 6 strikeouts, 96 pitches. Quicken brings you a rocket arm. Strikeouts per 9 innings. Major League starters, the Marlins 8th in Major League Baseball. A little over 8. See, the Cubs are there. Of course, the Dodgers fueled by Clayton Kershaw at the top. Matt Caesar is out in center field. He comes in for Albert Almora.
Veteran Trevor Cahill's found a home in the bullpen for the Chicago Cubs. Nice season. 2.6 ERA. Sinker.
Giancarlo Stanton, Justin Bour, JT Realmuto. Stanton has walked and struck out. Takes fastball down, and it's 2-0. Cahill, one-time starter. Had some nice years with the Oakland Athletics. Stanton flips that one foul. Backing out of play. Two and two. Friday night in Miami. Saturday afternoon, 4 o'clock start tomorrow, 1 o'clock Sunday. Hale trying to get the corner. He misses. Stanton with the full count. Was that a show me fastball?
I think he tried to dot. Fastball down the way, threw a lot of sinkers in and changeup. There's a changeup again.
And a pop up that's going to find the seats. Cahill last year in the Cubs bullpen in the postseason. Made 6 appearances. Stan looking for some solid contact here. He's fought off a lot of breaking balls in the at-bat. Pitch number 8's coming up.
Yeah, see that little fox tracks all the balls down in the zone. Trevor Cahill, big sinker kind of down pitcher.
Stan center field and deep. Back goes Caesar, and at the wall he makes the catch. He put a charge into it.
Wow, this ball is, see this sinker coming in, but middle of the plate. Middle inner third. I don't know if Giancarlo thought he got it. Sounded to look good. He got a little top spin to it.
The way he was running, I think he had a pretty good idea that wasn't going out.
15 in.
Now Bour, who has Miami's only hit of the night in a 4-4 game. It was a cutter about 88 miles an hour, and he blistered it to center. A swing. 1-2.
That's a nasty changeup. Bour not able to check his swing.
Bour, liner, right field. Hayward has it. Hit it hard. A couple of line drive outs to the outfield. Tomorrow, Major League Baseball returns for the game you can only see on Fox Sports 1 as the Padres and the Reds tangle at 3:30. And Baseball Night in America kicks off for the Mets and the Braves. 7 o'clock Eastern. Only on Fox. You can watch live as well on Fox Sports Go. Now Realmuto. Ball and a strike. Marlins have gone 5 innings now since their last hit, which of course was their only hit. Realmuto asking for time, getting settled for this 2-1.
Good pitch. A lot of movement. Very similar across the body kind of pitching. You see these, especially the right-handers from the Chicago Cub pitching staff. Hendricks had a similar delivery.
And Realmuto strikes out. Trevor Cahill looks unhittable. 4-4. The presenting sponsor of Miami Marlins baseball. On a Friday night in Miami, the Cubs and the Marlins haven't decided anything. Cubs with a big first inning, 4 runs, 6 hits. The Marlins, after an error and a couple walks, got a grand slam from Justin Bourne. That's the only hit for the Fish. Both pitchers certainly tightened their games up. Kyle Hendricks just gave way to Trevor Cahill, and now Tom Kohler gives way to Mike Dunn.
See the 10 appearances. Mike Dunn coming off the DL in May 31st with a left forearm strain. First time he was ever on the DL.
Now these guys have seen each other. Hayward 3 for 13 against Dunn. Hayward, then Chris Bryant, and then switch hitting Ben Zobrist. And Dunn bounces one in first pitch of the night. Mike Dunn, of course, opened the season on the disabled list. Strain of that left forearm. It's a strike here.
And the only left-handed reliever for the Marlins. Key. I think it's always important to have a couple guys. There's always a couple moments late in the game, especially a game like this, to get key lefties out.
Hayward to right, stand in, and a sliding catch. Giancarlo Stanton makes that play quite well.
Yeah, that's a nice play. What was he, a tight end or something like that in football?
Wide receiver.
There you go.
Corner.
Got a little pass out in front of him, diving.
At 6'4", about 230 in high school, wide receiver corner.
I wonder why. What he sent Letterman 10 to UCLA?
USC.
Oh, USC.
Don't confuse those two.
Wow, how dare I? Nice play.
He was also a back-to-the-basket low-post player in basketball. And of course, a great baseball player.
And he picked the right sport.
He did. He wasn't a travel ball elite league guy that had went just one sport year-round. He played all three, and he has said that all three sports he has used for his success in baseball.
Well, unfortunately, that's becoming more of an aberration. I think the specialty of all sports, kids end up playing just one sport. Although JT Realmuto, you told me yesterday, was a big football stud in Oklahoma.
High school quarterback. Duns 3-0 to Bryant. He's out. Chris Bryant, who homered back in the first, walks here in the seventh. And now you've got Zobrist, Wilson Contreras.
Doesn't matter. Switch hitter Zobrist against right-handers 304, lefties 297. Basic 300 hitters.
Bunt is foul from Zobrist.
Ben Zobrist saw Martin Prado playing back. He felt confident he could lay one down the third base line. One out. Interesting play. Prado still playing back. Said, you want a bunt? Go ahead. Backing up even more.
With one out, 0-1. In the dirt, and that wild pitch ends up hitting Zobrist, I think. Or did he hurt himself avoiding the pitch? He got up like he'd been hit. And I think it hit his back heel. It did. The back of his front foot on the heel. Look at where that ball ends up, over the dugout.
On a bounce.
On a bounce.
Every time that I think of that, even though it's on a bounce, it's still a hit by pitch. Remember Vladimir Guerrero with the Orioles? It was a bounce pitch and he hit a double.
I've seen footage from his Japanese days of Ichiro doing the same. Ball bounces in front of the plate. Ichiro lines it to right.
Like a cricket player.
Yeah. Ichiro waiting patiently for his call to duty tonight. You know, a pinch hitting appearance or a double switch defensively is coming. Well, the conference here is this. You got Wilson Contreras at the plate. Contreras has shown some nice power. Two-run homer in the first. He's hit 3 home runs already in a short stay with the Cubs.
And you got the lefty on deck.
And Chris Coughlin.
Yeah, what's the move? He's only got 4 guys on his bench, and 2 of them are hurt. He used Matt Caesar.
David Ross, the only healthy one. And Dunn bounces another one right now. Well, Mike Dunn's having trouble finding the strike zone. Remember, the only out was that great sliding catch by Stanton on the line drive from Hayward. Stanton has it. Round third, coming home is Bryant, and he's going to score. Wilson Contreras has knocked in 3 runs tonight.
Yeah, well, Dunn got in a bad count. You see the fastball away, up, out, over. Wilson Contreras banging it to right field. Easily scored Bryant. With Coughlin on deck, not a good hitter against lefties this season, but he doesn't have many at-bats. I'm batting 100. That's combined with Oakland and the Cubs.
Another ball in the dirt.
He just doesn't have a feel that was a slider. All of his sliders have been 59-footers. Not a good ratio there. More balls than strikes.
So Dunn fighting it right now, trying to find it in the 7th. Bounces another one. Coughlin's career splits. Now Baez is on deck. And Whitgren is ready. Three and 0 to Coughlin. It's way outside. And the bags are loaded, and Don Mattingly looks like he's on his way out. Pitcher spot is due up. Second in the 7th. But with 1 out, the call goes to the pen. Nick Whitgren comes in, a Wes Kendall Toyota called to the bullpen. Five-4 lead. Sunday, it's Jewish Heritage Day at Marlins Park. Marlins Cubs 1:10 start. First 5,000 kids get a pair of Marlins athletic socks courtesy of U-Health. Kids can run the bases in the Diamond Dash after the game.
Oh. Getting tired, isn't she? By the way, that diamond nest is pretty cool.
It is. It was, it was cool the other day on Father's Day to see the entire field filled with kids and dads, and there were some moms out there too. Now here's Nick Wickren. He has to clean this up. Bags loaded. Javier Baez at the plate. From Zobrist to Contreras to Coghlan. Infield looks for a ground ball. Wickren's fastball sails in.
Wickren fastball, slider, change. That's his arsenal. Changeup has been excellent.
Former Purdue Boilermaker. Strike.
Boy, he throws across his body too. Cutting it off. Look like you're coming from the third baseman.
This is a guy that has climbed the minor league ladder after being a 9th round pick back in 2012. And he's done it by compiling a low ERA throughout the minor leagues. Coming into this season, his minor league ERA at 2.30 and a reliever all the way. Closer. 79 minor league saves from 2012 through last year. Jacksonville and New Orleans last year. One, two.
Watch here what I was saying about Wickren. Across step about a foot or so toward third base, and then here it is. It's coming at you. Maybe there's that slider down and away here.
Baez had an RBI single in that big first. And it's been 4-4 since the first until here, when the Cubs got to a wild Mike Dunn. Dunn walked to hit a batter and gave up an RBI single. Wickren and a breaking ball gets him on a swing and a miss.
Nice pitch. Heater, 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 and then across the body. Watch Baez, a good break, good spin. You see it looks middle of the plate. Well done. Big cut by Baez. Doesn't get cheated, Javier Baez.
Addison Russell now. Muto, a backhand pick, ball in the dirt. 1-0. Russell, one of the young players that P.O. Epstein was able to pry from a team that needed pitching. Trade deadline with Oakland. Jeff Samardzija and Jason Hamill, July of 14. Russell came over, a first-round pick of the Athletics. He was Oakland's #1 prospect for 2 straight years. 2013 and 2014. Out of Pensacola. And his career minor league numbers off the charts. Over 300 with an average 377 on base, 520 slugging. Real Muto's on his way out. And when Epstein took over, this is his 5th year, he had a bloated payroll and a lot of guys that were still of value to other teams. Dealt those guys, restocked the minor league system. Joe Madden reaping the benefits of it last year and this year. And you would think in the next 4, 5, 6 years, however long it lasts, they are thick with prospects. Count 2-1. Popped him up. Bohr has it, and Wickren does clean it up. The Cubs get a run and lead it 5-4. Scoring summary. First thing, it happened quickly. First pitch, Chris Bryant. Second hitter of the game. That's a home run. And then the Cubs go at it again. This one, Wilson Contreras. This is still first inning. Chris Coghlan would triple, and Javi Baez would bang this one into center field. Just like that, Cubs a 4-0 lead. Bags loaded. Justin Bohr. That's still the first inning. And a 4-4 ball game. We move ahead to further action. With all due respect to Lindsey Nelson, in the 7th, Wilson Contreras again into right field against Mike Dunn, scoring Chris Bryant, who had walked. And the Cubs have that 5-4 lead. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much.
You dropped a Lindsey Nelson.
Well,
brought me back to my Met days as a kid.
Well, for me, it was Notre Dame replays on Sunday morning. You know, Army was unable to sustain a drive. We moved to further action.
University of Tennessee.
Lindsey Nelson and Paul Hornung doing Notre Dame games on Sunday morning. David Ross is in. Chris Bryant wanders over to third. Who was that guy we just saw with the lights flashing in the gold suit?
That was Sushi Man.
There's no right?
Is that sushi on his head?
See, I did not know that he was a member of the League of Justice and a bona fide superhero, Sushi Man. I missed that episode of. He's got a friend, his sidekick, who rides in the sidecar.
You don't have one of those gold outfits? No?
No. Ichiro is on deck. So Baez is now at second base as the Cubs move all over the infield. Trevor Cahill is still in there, and he misses outside to Danny Echeverria. Then it feels like it's Ichiro next, with Derek Dietrich after that.
So Wilson Contreras at first, right, Rich?
Yes.
Bryant to third.
And remember, as you pointed out, it's a short bench to begin with. Just 4 reserves for the Cubs, and 2 of them are banged up. Anthony Rizzo and Miguel Montero. Etch off the glove of Contreras and into right field for a hit.
Hard hit ball. Wilson Contreras couldn't handle it. First time playing first base yesterday, off the bag, just off the top of his glove. Definitely had a shot at it. Popped out of his glove.
Joe Maddon on his way out. He had a lefty ready in the pen. And that lefty is coming in for Ichiro. West Kendall Toyota called to the bullpen. Marlins have actually opened up an Ichiro wing of their gift shop, sort of an Ichiro kiosk here at Marlins Park with Ichiro items. And here he is, the real item. As a pinch hitter this year, 7 for 22. And he gets Travis Wood, another guy like Cahill who was once a starter and has found a home in a bullpen. 36th appearance for Travis Wood. Wood to the plate, and he gets a strike against Ichiro. There's your season average. He's had a nice homestand. Hasn't homered this year. He's on base at 394. David Ross. And all the moves that Joe Maddon made was just to get David Ross in the game behind the plate for these final innings. Ross, a terrific defensive player. Echeverria, the runner at first. And Ichiro swings and misses. 17 hits away from 3,000. And Wood gets him. That was as uncomfortable in a bat we've seen from Ichiro in a while.
Yeah, and he just stayed away, and I'm with you, Rich. I mean, his pinch hitting role for Ichiro, as great as he is, you see him just barely trying to hope to get a piece of that. Wood stayed away with that little cut at the end of his fastball.
Well, Wood in his last 13 appearances has given up just a run in 13 2/3 innings. Here's Dietrich.
See the action of Travis Wood, and you mentioned he was a starter, high draft pick, second rounder in 2005 with the Reds. Batting average lefties off of Wood at 160.
Made 9 starts last year, was a full-time starter in the Cubs rotation 2012, 13, and 14. Fours in a strike.
Yeah, that's a tough pitch. You see right on our Fox tracks, just slightly off the plate.
And if he can get that call, especially against the lefties, he'll live out there.
The way this game played out, the 8 runs in the first inning, just grinding bats. Each pitcher fought through, really, literally. Kohler got 6 innings after the 4 runs, and Hendricks over 100 pitches through 5 innings. 4 of the runs, all unearned.
Goes out further, and it's 1-2. It was late offense that decided last night's game for Miami. Marlins got 2 in the 8th to win it 4-2. Dietrich runs the count to 2 balls and 2 strikes. Now Prado next. No one's throwing in the Cubs pen right now. Of course, you got Yelich, another lefty, after Prado. Dietrich hits a bolt to center, Caesar back, and is there to make the catch. Oh, good at bat for Dietrich.
Now Dietrich hit it right on the screws. Just straight away to bat Caesar. Get a good pitch, drive it, hit it hard.
Prado now with 2 outs. And Echeverria, not a base stealer, has not budged from first. And nearly gets caught leaning.
Yeah, he's got the cheap move. Most lefties, if they can disguise it, the step toward home plate, put your foot down, walk toward first.
And the walk towards first disguises that you step towards the plate.
Yeah, you get, I mean, there's like the 45-degree rule. There's no such thing. You step toward home plate, it's a walk. But often a left-handed pitcher will do that, and as a result of not just standing there to show the first base umpire you step toward home, you just kind of casually walk toward first base.
David Ross throws it down the right field line. Echeverria on his way to second. Well, remember last night, Ross threw the ball everywhere trying to pick runners off. And this time, Contreras got all tied up. He's not a first baseman. He's a catcher.
Yeah, he's a catcher. And last night was the first time that he was at first base. You see here, Travis Wood throws the ball. We've seen some snap throws right between the wickets. Contreras and David Ross not afraid to keep the runners from not getting that big secondary lead. Huge advance there with
He
this.
looked like a catcher at first base that time. Now Prado, who hits lefties well. 355 average, 9th best in the National League.
Well, you got that batting average of Prado. How they approach Martin with the lefty on deck. Yelich, and he can hit lefties as well at a 290 clip.
Joe Madden looking at that scorecard of his bench banged up. Yelich on deck. And that misses. And it's 2-1.
That's a close pitch right there.
That was a good pitch right there.
Yeah, I thought so.
Count 2-1. Outfield towards right center. That's out. And the question here, does Prado get something good to hit? 3-1. It's lefty on lefty action if he walks, because you've got Yelich on deck, though Yelich does hit lefties pretty well.
It's going to be a good pitch. I don't think he's going to concede the at bat, although respect Prado for sure. The 390 batting average, 355. Oh, yeah. Right there.
Great pitch.
Oh, he may have been surprised. Looked like a pitch around, and then he got a fastball to hit.
Well, let's see if he gets another fastball here. And Chavarria, the tying runs at second. 2 outs, bottom 7. An emergency swing. Still 3-2. Three-2 again. Breaking ball, and Prado scalded it foul.
Coming in hot into the Marlins dugout. Stanton and others scattering. Skip above him.
Three-two again. Way out.
Good at bat. Boy, that was a good at bat.
And so now here's the lefty-lefty matchup. And that's Yelich, who's 0 for 2 with a walk against Travis Wood. And as we documented, Wood is not giving up hits or runs lately.
Travis Wood, we're watching what he's throwing. Fastball slider away to the lefty. Yelich good at staying middle of the field.
Cubs play Yelich absolutely straight up, infield and outfield.
Christian Yelich, be patient here with Ozuna on deck and just watching the way the Cubs have pitched him carefully tonight.
Nobody up in Chicago's bullpen. One-0 to Yelich. Takes out, and it's 2-0.
Good eye by Christian Yelich. He knows his strike zone. This is a pitch of, it's an action ball.
Chris Basio's on his way out. There's Yelich, 7th inning or later. Another number to consider here. The man on deck is the best in the National League against lefties, and that's Marcell Ozuna. And that's why it's important to note no one's throwing in the Cubs bullpen.
And he's got 8, Joe Madden does, 8 relievers. You have one of the hottest hitters in baseball who hits lefties, and he's got nobody up. Interesting.
That's the obligatory empty bullpen shot. So Madden putting a lot of faith in Wood, and why not? He's been one of his best out of the pen over the last month. 2-0 to Yelich. And he had a rip, fouls it back.
Oh, he had a pitch to hit, Rich. Yeah, no, Christian Yelich knows he had one. Watch this pitch here. You see where David Ross, the catcher's setting up. This ball ends up being almost down the middle of the plate. Actually got in on him a little.
Now the 2-1. It's down low. Ross held it. And right now the Cubs bench on DJ Rayburn.
Yeah, just barely. Yeah.
You see the numbers. Yelich against Wood were very good. Now a 3-1 pitch. Pulls it on the ground to first. Contreras flips it, and Wood gets the out, and the Cubs escape in the 7th. 5-4 Chicago headed to the 8th. It was 4-4 after 1. Now 5-4 Cubs here. Inside Look brought to you by Toyota. All-time title droughts. 4 major sports. 106 years for the Cubs. The White Sox, well, they ended theirs. The Red Sox, the Phillies. How about the Cardinals of the NFL? From St. Louis to Arizona, 1948.
Huh. 48? What team was in 48? Arizona. Oh, they go back to St. Louis.
No, it's the Cardinal
organization.
The football Cardinals.
Oh, I'm
Jim Hart,
City.
Roger Worley, Kurt Warner. Here's Brian Ellington.
Thought we were doing like a city thing.
No, it's
Yeah.
well, we could do that. Yeah. I guess the Diamondbacks would be the last Arizona team to win a title. That one fouled back.
Smooth, easy cheese.
Yeah, that's 98. It takes effort, but he doesn't show a lot of it. It's just nice and easy, and it just explodes out of that right hand. Ellington, one of those guys that scouts see and project and really have to do their homework on. He had Tommy John surgery in high school. Fastball misses.
Well, I guess that explains the 16th round draft pick, right? Out of a junior college, West Florida.
University of West Florida in Pensacola, a Division II school.
Well, not a JC.
Not a JC. Though he did start at a junior college. Played one season at Florida State College in Jacksonville.
Well, I'll tell you what, this is closer stuff. You get command, get ahead of hitters as a reliever. Fastball slider, that was 99 miles an hour.
Matt Caesar. And you've got the pitcher's spot. That one fouled back, but of course Travis Wood is a good hitter. He's got 9 career home runs, so he's on deck. It's one of the reasons Joe Madden could have made that move, knowing that Wood was going to hit and have the pitcher still in that 9 spot. To right, Stanton over. Caesar is out number 1. Tomorrow's starters, John Lackey. A resurgence of John Lackey. Look at the ERA, a 2.78 ERA, and Paul Clemens gets his 2nd start as a Marlin. He almost had his first relief appearance as a Marlin tonight, because he ran down to the bullpen late in that first inning when Tom Kohler had given up 4 runs on 6 hits. So here's Wood, left-handed pitcher, right-handed swinger.
A little 99 for you. Those are good numbers for a pitcher. 9 homers.
99 on the black.
Cross shoot coming at you.
And he strikes out.
This is just here it is, hit it. Ellington reach it back. Each of these fastballs 99 miles an hour. No chance. I think just a matter of watching Brian Ellington and seeing the numbers clearly, being able to throw more strikes. In New Orleans, 18 walks in 23 2/3 innings. Get those walks down.
Hayward now takes a strike. And with Wood hitting and no one throwing, it looks like Joe Madden will run him out there in the 8th as well and try to build a bridge for Hector Rondon. Well, that doesn't feel good. Hayward tosses the bat.
Look like a slider or something borne down and in. Yep. That bounce as well. No, right on his toe.
Stopped the ball right in front of the plate. Ouch. Shoes are so light.
Yeah.
That
no protection.
They don't really absorb much of that. Hayward chased back.
There's a couple games now. It says a lot about the lower back soreness of Anthony Rizzo, just giving him complete full day rest.
Bryant against Ellington. The pitch speed on Fox tracks is 1 tick lower than the pitch speed at the ballpark. So when Ellington hits 99 and there's a buzz that you hear, that's the crowd reacting to triple digits up on the board. One and two. 2 down, top 8. Bryant stays alive at 1 and 2. East Coast games all entering the final innings. Somewhat of a wild one in Atlanta. 8-6 Mets, bottom 8. Nationals are in the central zone. In Milwaukee, it's 3-3, top 6.
Braves playing better baseball. They won 6 in a row. Parity across the game. Or 500 teams. Half the teams in Major League Baseball 500. Shocker. Jose Fernandez smiling.
Doesn't happen often. Ellington a peek over at first. Hayward's there, albeit with a sore foot. Here's the 1-2. There it is, 100 on the board.
Well, that's the big ooh.
That's the ooh.
Yep.
Although it's wearing off once you see it.
After a while, right?
After a while,
yeah.
It's.
Isn't that amazing?
It is.
Yeah. There's the arms, the velocities in baseball.
Now, if he threw 101 or 102, then the ooh comes back.
So 100's not enough.
Not after you've seen it 3 or 4 times. Yeah. 2-2. Got him. Little slide piece there at 88.
Wow, or a changeup or something. Definitely off speed.
5-4. It's Ozuna, Stanton, and Bour in a 1-run game. Still pumping out the music. Venezuelan baseball legend Luis Aparicio. The only Venezuelan in the Hall of Fame, I'm told, which is stunning.
Great. All the great baseball players from Venezuela. 1.
9 Gold Gloves. 10-time All-Star. Marcelo Ozuna, Travis Wood.
I guess the way Mickey be the next one.
Yeah, you would think that Miguel Cabrera will be there. Ozuna steps out. That elbow pad had slid off. Wood still in there into his second inning of relief. And he's there to face Ozuna, Stanton, and Bohr. I guess that's the benefit of having a guy who's been a starter for so long. Now a reliever, as he's used to facing guys from both sides of the plate. As we noted, Ozuna's batting average tops against lefties. A healthy .413. Pulls it. Bryant across the diamond in time.
It says a lot about the Cubs, and this is a heck of a team. They're tied with the lead in wins or all of baseball. Texas and the Giants, you see their closer now warming up. Hector Rondon, but to have Joe Madden, Rich, he's got 8 relievers. You know, the mixing and matching, where this game has come to, lefty-righty matchups to stay with. As you say, good point. Travis Wood was a starter, but he does have other options, but not having the same confidence as he does with Travis Wood facing both lefty and righties in a 1-1 game.
But wouldn't you agree the key to being able to make a 4-man bench work in the National League is have a Zobrist who can play everywhere, have Bryant who can play a lot of places. He's got Contreras who now can play first. Baez who can go around that infield.
Yeah, the versatility of this, that's a good point. The versatility of this roster. Multiple players playing different positions. It does have the 3 catchers, but I mean, if this is a more than just a once in a while with the youngster Contreras playing first, I guess you can have it. He's a believer in that shorter everyday player roster and have the additional arms. But if you have 8 relievers, this is a slider right here to Stanton. Right middle upstairs.
That's one of the few swings we've seen over the last 5-6 days where Stanton really spins off the ball. Fouls it off his foot. Remember, the 2 hits last night were to right field. The home run was to right, and that RBI single in the 8th was to right. Goodness. I don't know if StatCast gives you foul balls, exit velocity.
Well, whatever that was fast. That's a hanging slider again. He got away with one on the pitch that Giancarlo swung through, but wow, if you get that fair, that ball was out of here quickly.
Stand off the end of the bat, flips it down the line. Hayward in pursuit has it. And there are 2 outs, and now the Marlins are going to hit for Bohr with Chris Johnson. And Joe Madden says, I'm going to go get my closer. So Rondon will be called upon for a 4-out save. He arrives with this West Kendall Toyota call to the pen. Underneath it, a Miami cap.
2 more teams, right?
Yeah, well,
almost. I think he's got a dolphin tattoo.
Dolphin tattoo, huh? Wow.
I don't know.
And what, Heat socks on?
Yeah, let's go with that.
All right, MLB.TV Premium, every out-of-market regular season game on any or all of the devices you have, up to 400 devices. Visit MLB.TV for details. So it's Rondon against Johnson, and Rondon has been nasty. .96 and he misses out.
See that terrific ERA. Only 14 opportunities. 12 for 14 in saves.
Well, that run differential will tell you that they're winning games by a lot. Johnson fouls it off. The count's 1-1, and appropriately, he's from Venezuela, 28 years old. It's his 4th year with the Cubs. Was a Cleveland Indian, had Tommy John surgery, a Rule 5 pick by the Cubs in 2012. Worked his way up the ladder, apprenticed under Carlos Marmol, and voila, closer, and a good one. Last year, a 1.67 ERA and 30 saves.
Tommy John surgery. God, that just rolls off the tongue in baseball, right? I don't know what the percentage is, but it's a ton.
Rondon thought it was a strike. There may be a point where a guy comes in, and rather than saying he's had Tommy John surgery, you'll say he's not had Tommy John surgery.
Can you believe it? He has not had Tommy John surgery. Yeah, I mean, it's, I wouldn't say epidemic, but all the way down to even high school level.
That strike 3 call brought it back across the plate, strikes out Johnson. Rondon gets his first out. Cubs are hoping he can get 3 more. Marlins hope to get another shot at the bottom of the 9th. Southwest, transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By Dodge, visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today. And by your South Florida Honda dealers. In Miami tonight, the Cubs have a 1-run lead into the 9th. Chris Johnson stays in the game and stays at first base. And the Marlins are going to stick with Brian Ellington, the hard-throwing right-hander. David Ross, his first at bat. Ross blasted a home run in the top of the 8th to tie the game. That was against Wei-Yin Chen. They lost to, with a lot of the heroics, especially having Stanton get 2 big hits, is the fact that Chen looked like a completely different pitcher last night than he had in his last 3 or 4 outings.
7+ innings, 5 hits, and 2 runs, 7 strikeouts. I would say didn't get out of the 3rd inning against Colorado, his shortest start in his career. Pitched very well, matched the start of John Lester.
There's a push in Chicago to get David Ross to the All-Star game. This being his final season, well-liked guy that's.
Can he catch a knuckleball?
That might be. Well, you have to change teams, right?
Oh yeah, that's American League.
He's got to go.
That could be an issue. Stephen Wright with the Red Sox. Good guy. Future manager, I think. Gets it. Well liked. Baseball mind. Serves as like another pitching coach to any team he's been on. Pitchers love pitching to him.
When's the next time? Dave Duncan, is he the last catcher that was a pitching coach?
That's a good question.
Because, you know, just in saying that, serves as the assistant pitching coach. You wonder if a guy like Ross could be a pitching coach and then a manager. Catchers make up a high percentage of major league managers. But having that experience as a pitching coach can help too.
I don't know. I mean, you bring up Dave Duncan, and I know that was a longtime friend of Tony La Russa, goes back to the White Sox days. I don't. I mean, the fact that there hasn't been another one, I don't believe, but I don't think so. You know, one thing seeing what it looks like, but then having to actually help the flaws of a pitcher's mechanics. I don't know.
Well, Duncan was pretty good at it.
Yeah, he was.
He revived a lot of careers in his time in St. Louis.
Yeah, I wouldn't have a problem. I could tell you, Rich, I had some catchers, and Vance Wilson comes to mind. He's now the AA manager in the Kansas City organization. You know, there were catchers. They can help you with what they see mechanically from behind home plate out to the pitcher. I wouldn't be averse to that.
2-2 to Ross. It's been a busy spot in there.
Well, I thought, what, a couple innings ago, you saw all the Marlin guys ducking, but it actually went over the Marlins dugout.
Of course, that's John Tuitu territory. John, our athletically gifted and usually athletically adorned cameraman. What have you got? Is that a BYU? There's Craig. He's in a safe place.
That would be a shot if it hit Craig.
John is in the firing line, and I think he's got a BYU shirt on tonight. Every night, I'm telling you, Al, it's a different college, some obscure. That one not. Brigham Young.
That was Yale.
Ellington gets the strikeout. So Ross goes down.
I'll tell you what, I'm just seeing Brian Ellington live for the first time. I like this kid a lot. That's a changeup. It was 9,900 miles an hour. And then he drops a changeup against a right-handed batter. You don't see that often. What a pitch. You get him to get a consistent release point, good timing, rhythm with his delivery. 3 pitches, a slider, the change, and a fastball that touches 100. Wow. You got something.
Big night for Wilson Contreras, not just because it's Venezuelan Heritage Night. And he's from Puerto Cabello, in Venezuela. There's his night in a nutshell. Baseball America had him as the second best prospect in the Cubs system. Top catching prospect in baseball by MLB.com. Southern League All-Star with Tennessee last year. His numbers jump off the page. 333, 413, 478 slash line. 34 doubles and 8 homers. One and two. Two pitch to Contreras. Left center, Ozuna tracking. And he backs up into it and makes the catch. There's 2 outs.
I have to say, after the first inning, Rich, every out, there's only been 1 run scored in the, what's that, 16, 17 innings? Up and down, I mean top and bottom. Every out has been a bit of a grind. Doesn't matter who was pitching. Each respective side, the hitters are taking pitches, fouling them off, fighting. 5, 6, 7 pitch at bats.
Chris Coghlan takes in. Coghlan tripled in the first. And that was the big inning. If you got to the game, say you were coming to the game and maybe things were running late and you walked in, you figured, we'll get there second or third inning. Nothing will happen in the first. Well, only 8 runs happened in the first, and only 1 has happened since.
Yeah. But yet it feels like a lot. Like it's been a grind for both sides, and only 1 run scored. That's in the top of the 7th. Squirrely too, right? Dunn comes in, line out Hayward, and then he walks a guy, hits a guy. And Bryant and Zobrist. Contreras gets the big base hit. Nice job by Whitbread.
So the Marlins and the Cubs combined to score 8 runs in the first. In Kansas City, the Astros scored 9 runs in the first. George Springer had a triple and a grand slam in the first tonight. How about that? Have a night. And you haven't even taken your position defensively. There's the changeup. Marlins to the bottom of the 9th. Rondon back on the mound. It's 5-4 Chicago. in the first inning and a single run in the 7th. It's down to this. The Cubs have a 1-run lead. Hector Rondon, their closer, is on. He's hard to hit. Don Mattingly is looking for some offense from the bottom of his order. 7, 8, 9 before it turns over to Derek Dietrich. Real Muto, Danny Echeverria, and then the pitcher spot. Probably Cole Gillespie. And Real Muto takes in. Rondon came in and struck out Chris Johnson, and that finished the 8th. Breaking ball up. It's 2-0.
2 sliders in a row from Rondon. Rondon, primarily fastball slider pitcher. He's had a nice season. Good job for the Cubs. 12 saves.
Real Muto sends it into the seats, foul. The plantain almost got it. Or is it a banana?
I'm saying banana.
All right. He's really green, though.
All right. He needs a little more time to ripen.
It's just put him in the windowsill and
yeah,
away it goes. Wash away the green. Here's the 2-1. Real Muto, the count even 2-2. One of the keys to Rondon is impeccable control. Just 3 walks. And this is his 26th appearance.
You see David Ross looking at the ball. That's one of those not showing up the umpire, but you watch here on the corner. David Ross sets up. He hits the glove, actually comes back over the plate. Yeah. I gotta believe DJ Rayburn, home plate umpire, thought that was down.
Now the Fox Tracks had it at the knees. 3-2 now to Real Muto. JT left center, well hit. Coughlin there, and he makes the catch.
Gave it a ride. Got a fastball down the middle. A lot of room out there in left center field here at Marlins Park. Fastball, little comeback. Boy, that was right down the middle, center cut. Just died.
Never know it at Wrigley. On a right night, that ball may have found some ivy. Breaking ball strike. Echeverria singled off the glove of Contreras at first. A line shot in the 7th.
I mean, just seeing, sorry, Rich, just seeing the way Joe Madden has handled this game with Travis Wood going to him a couple extra outs, the inning and 2/3. If there is a spot on this team, and I know there's been much discussed about, you know, the Cubs picking up a reliever, I would think that that's going to be what they're going to be looking for, to get a little more depth. You have 8 relievers, and I know that Justin Grimm, nice player, but he's a pitcher. He's hasn't had the year to 33 games, an ERA over 6. Some younger pitchers, and Carl Edwards Jr. and Spencer Patton brought up a young pitcher in Gerardo Concepcion.
Slow tapper to second. Baez throws out Echeverria. And so Rondon is an out away from a 4-out save. Cole Gillespie trying to extend the night. Gillespie pinch hitting with 2 outs. Rondon right now has been either right in the zone or near the zone. Gillespie to short. That's Russell, and the Cubs win it. And even this series at a game apiece. Chicago snaps a 4-game losing streak. Marlins Live coming up. Brought to you by Checkers. Craig Minervini, Jeff Conine. Bounce back from Tom Kohler, who hung in after giving up the 4 runs in the first. AT&T provides high-speed replays. This one swing provided all 4 Miami runs. A former Cub farmhand, Justin Board, grand slam to center. That was a 4-4 first inning. Cubs got a late run against Mike Dunn and win it here 5-4. Marlins just 2 hits tonight. Post-game show moments away on Marlins Live.